All right. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Steve, and I've prepared a few words to say. Not as much of Alexa, but yeah. So would you all just raise a glass with me? Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So just kidding about that. So I'd just like to echo Alexa and just really thank all of you guys for being here and just taking part in their special day, and just kind of on behalf of them, thanking you guys. Also thanking Dennis Rabb for the ceremony this afternoon, and then also Bob and Annette Spoody and Jeff and Bobby Wirebaugh kind of helping put all this stuff on. So thank you very much to you guys. So I've known Nate for roughly 10 years or so. We met doing track and cross country at Toledo Christian, where I was a senior and Nate was a freshman. And it was kind of an accident almost in how Nate and I became very good friends and best friends. So I forget where we were driving to. There was Mrs. Wirebaugh was driving, or Bobby was driving us somewhere. Nate was in the car, I was in the car, and there was another friend, and my friend and I were talking about how we should take a trip that summer and go to Chicago on this awesome road trip. And he asked Nate, he's like, yeah, Nate, you should come with. And I'm just thinking, really? Like, we don't really know this guy, he's 3 years younger than us. Like, do we really want to be bringing him along on this trip? So needless to say, we kind of got locked into that position for Nate to join with us. But since then, obviously Nate and I have become best friends, is the reason why I'm standing up here with him. We've gone on trips pretty much every year for the last 10 years to many different locations. Just to kind of highlight one specific story, and mainly as a warning to Erica. So last year, we went to Las Vegas, and we went to a few different shows and things like that. But the first night, we went to a casino, and Nate and I played craps for the first time. And we spent probably a good 2 hours there or something. Nate ends up winning a couple $100 playing craps that first night. Literally gets up from the table saying, I love this game so much, it's impossible to lose. And since then, although there have been some ups and downs in that, he has pretty much always stayed in the black gambling. So it's not so much that it is a gambling problem and that he's going to lose all the money, but you just need to be careful how much he wins. Not let it go to his head too much. So just one other story that I want to talk about with Nate. So like I said, we've been friends for a long time, over 10 years. We've had many different, we've hung out lots of different times, and in several of those cases, we've actually had many run-ins with the police. And some of them have been trespassing at different areas. One of the other times, the details really aren't that important, but it ended up with us getting put in the back of a police car, brought back to Nate's parents' house. And so, with that being said, Erica, I know you guys are going to be living in the DC area. And so I took the liberty of getting a few business cards for some law firms around the DC area, just in case you need to bail me out of jail or anything like that. So, all right. And so, just one last story I'd like to tell, something a little bit more sentimental about Nate. So, it really just has kind of happened this weekend or the last few days. And so every time us and the other grooms have kind of asked Nate about the details of what's going on for the wedding, when do we need to be where, Nate's like, I don't know, I'll check with Erica. I don't know what's going on. Nate, what time's the reception? When do we have to be where? I don't know. And we're just like, Nate, do you know anything what's going on? And clearly he really didn't know much of what was going on. But with that being said, obviously Nate and Erica both read each other vows that they wrote and they made up. And Nate, with working through these vows, he wrote all those pretty much within about an hour or so. He wrote those down and kind of they all came to him, wrote them down and stuff, and going through those. And he just kept practicing them, kind of wanting to perfect them, making them all be perfect. He's asking the rest of us groomsmen to kind of proofread over them, making sure they're really perfect, that the words are really there for what he's trying to say to Erica. And so it's really amazing, I mean, just very obvious from those words how much he loves Erica from those. But really just kind of coming back to this morning, as Nate finished them up, And he hadn't practiced them yet, and we got to the chapel where Nate's practicing them, and he's standing outside kind of the conference room where the rest of us are getting changed. And he's practicing, but he comes up to me and he's like, Steve, I just got teary-eyed just practicing them as I was reading through those vows. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna go in this closet and shut the door to kind of keep practicing these vows. And so, obviously, you guys heard the words that he said, and it's very obvious how much these two love each other. There's really not much that can be said that already hasn't been said about them. And so I really would just like to wish them, and just all of us raise our glasses, and really just wish them the very best and a very happy marriage. So, cheers.